Spoilers ahead. Watch out, and take care. The movie begins with a women's basketball team celebrating their win, lifting their coach, Don Haskins, in the air. Soon after, Coach Don receives a life-changing phone call while playing with his children. Texas Western University, a small school in El Paso, offers him the position of head basketball coach. Eager to coach a Division I basketball team, Coach Don meets with the university board. They want him to lead the basketball team, but are upfront about their limited budget. Although they can't offer a large salary, they promise him free room and board for his family in the campus dormitory, and daily meals at the canteen. Despite the modest offer, driven by his passion for coaching, he accepts. The next day, he and his family move to El Paso. Upon arriving at the campus, they are greeted by Mo, Coach Don's assistant, who shows them to their new living quarters. There, they meet Ross, the team's fitness trainer, who is preparing the room for him and his wife, Mary. The two families quickly get acquainted. Mo then takes Coach Don to the basketball court to observe the current players. After assessing their abilities, Coach Don realizes he needs to recruit new talent to build a competitive team. However, Mo informs him the limited budget has already been allocated to repair the court's lights. Undeterred, he meets with the university board again to request funds for recruitment. Unfortunately, the board explains the university prioritizes football over basketball, leaving little budget for his team. Despite the limited budget, Texas Western University promises to provide scholarships for recruited players, a gesture Coach Don Haskins hopes would attract new talent. Determined to build a competitive team, he visits local campuses and basketball courts, but his efforts are met with rejection. The university's team, the Miners, have a reputation as underachievers, and potential recruits are hesitant to join. Just when he is about to give up, he notices a talented African-American player named Hill, who seems to be waiting for an opportunity. Coach Don approaches him in the locker room, and offers Hill a full scholarship to join the Miners. Hill, disillusioned by his experience as a supplementary player on previous teams, initially declines the offer. Coach Don persists, assuring him his talent would be valued, and not wasted. After a heartfelt conversation, he agrees to join the Miners. However, not everyone is supportive of Coach Don's decision. Mo and Ross express their disapproval, concerned that recruiting African-American players might face resistance from the university board, due to the pervasive racism of the 1960s. Despite their objections, he remains steadfast in his mission, believing in the potential of his recruits. His search continues, leading him to another promising player, Harry Floyd, who is playing basketball with a friend. Initially frightened by his approach, Harry flees, only to find him waiting at his home. Coach Don speaks with Harry's mother, offering her son a full scholarship if he agrees to join the team. Persuaded by Coach Don's commitment and the prospect of a scholarship, Harry's mother convinces him to accept the offer. With Harry on board and his search ongoing, Coach Don is determined to find more talent to turn the Miners into a formidable team. His recruitment efforts continue to bear fruit. He successfully adds another player, Orson Aris, and then travels to New York to persuade more African-American players to join the team. His efforts lead to the recruitment of Neville Shedd, Willie Worley, and Willie Cager. However, his increasing focus on African-American players sparks controversy with the university board, which is displeased with the presence of 7 black recruits on the team. Despite the board's disapproval, Coach Don remains on his approach. As the black players begin integrating into the team, tensions surface. At the university canteen, interactions between the new recruits and the white players grow strained, leading to a commotion. Ross, the fitness trainer, intervenes to defuse the situation. Determined to build a competitive team, Coach Don recruits one more player, David Lattin, a professional who is frequently covered by the media. Meanwhile, Jerry Armstrong, a white player, faces familial pressure to leave basketball for fieldwork. Despite his parents' objections, Jerry chooses to pursue his passion for the sport. Coach Don faces skepticism from various quarters, including the university janitor, who questions his ability to coach a men's team, given his background with women's basketball. This doubt is compounded when a player, influenced by the janitor's comments, begins to underestimate Coach's coaching skills. In response, Coach intensifies his training regime, pushing the team hard and reprimanding those who don't meet his standards, including Neville, who lacks seriousness in practice. Tensions among the players rise when Hill invites his teammates to a bar. While David abstains due to an early training session the next day, the others return unprepared. Coach Don, upon discovering their lack of readiness, imposes a collective punishment, including on David. He then emphasizes the importance of fundamental basketball skills, chastising Hill for showboating, and insisting the team adhere to his disciplined approach. Off the court, Harry struggles academically, facing the risk of failing his exams. Coach takes a personal interest in his academic success, setting a deadline of 2 weeks for improvement, and enlisting Harry's mother to support his studies. With Coach's encouragement and his mother's help, Harry manages to raise his grades and avoid academic failure. At the next training session, Coach and his team are unknowingly under scrutiny by the university board. The board, disapproving of Coach Don's decision to recruit a significant number of black players, watch closely as the team prepares for their upcoming regional competition. Despite Coach's efforts, Neville continues to struggle with his fear of blocking, a crucial skill for the upcoming matches. Concerned about his performance, Coach makes the difficult decision to cut him from the team. He protests, but his objections are ignored. The next day, he returns, pleading for another chance. Coach relents, giving him one more opportunity. During training, Neville collides with David Lattin and sustains an injury. Despite the setback, he insists on continuing to play, and even chooses to wear a mask, rather than stay sidelined. His determination impresses Coach, who decides to reinstate him. As the day of the regional match arrives, Coach makes a bold choice for the lineup, featuring 3 black players and 2 white players. This decision shocks many, and faces resistance from some quarters. However, the team's performance is promising, and they manage to secure respectable results. In their next match against Gula, a team ranked 4th nationally, the Miners struggle. Hill is particularly disheartened by the team's performance, and approaches Coach Don during halftime, requesting permission to play his own style of basketball. Coach initially rejects the request, but with the Miners falling further behind, he calls a timeout, and grants Hill the freedom to lead. Hill's inspired play helps the team close the gap, and ultimately secure a dramatic victory. The Miners' success quickly makes them a sensation, and their reputation grows, as they advance to national competition. Their newfound popularity brings both positive and negative attention. Racism against the black players intensifies, culminating in a violent attack on Neville, by a group of men in a restaurant restroom. Additionally, Coach's wife, Mary, receives threatening messages, causing concern for the safety of the players and the Haskins family. Despite the growing tensions, they remain resolute in their commitment to the team. Meanwhile, Willie Cager begins experiencing shortness of breath. After a medical examination, it is revealed he has hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, a potentially fatal condition. Cager keeps his diagnosis a secret, to continue playing, adding an additional layer of risk and tension to the team's journey. After discovering Cager's condition, Coach makes the difficult decision to remove him from active play, despite Cager's deep attachment to basketball. Coach explains that while the team values his enthusiasm, his health is paramount. Cager is initially disappointed and upset, but eventually comes to understand Coach's perspective. The Miners advance to the national competition, facing skepticism from many, including some team officials, who doubt the efficacy of having a predominantly black lineup. This skepticism is compounded by a chilly reception from Coach Roop, of the defending champion Kentucky University, who shows clear disdain for the Miners' composition. During their first match, the Miners face racist hostility from the crowd. Despite this, they play remarkably well, with David's aggression earning him 4 fouls. To prevent a red card, Coach Don substitutes David, and the team manages to maintain their lead. After the game, the team is disheartened to find their lodgings vandalized, with hateful graffiti. Coach and Ross quickly make arrangements for the team to leave and regroup. The incident intensifies the players' feelings of alienation. The Miners struggle in their next match, falling behind early. Coach Don's frustration peaks as he makes an error in his seating arrangement. The team's poor performance leads to their first defeat since entering the national competition. The loss prompts finger-pointing between white and black players, which Ross highlights as detrimental to the team's unity. In a bid to refocus the team, Coach rallies them, emphasizing the importance of overcoming adversity and proving their worth. Despite the loss, the Miners advance to the next stage, where they will face Kansas. Before the match, Cager's mother requests that Coach Don give her son at least 5 minutes of playtime, despite the risks. The game against Kansas is fiercely contested. Coach's decision to put Cager in, despite his condition, pays off, as Cager helps close the gap. With strategic substitutes and intense play, the Miners manage to force overtime, and eventually secure a dramatic victory, earning their place in the final, against Kentucky University. In the final, Coach executes a groundbreaking plan, fielding all black players, including reserves. This is a historic move in American college basketball. Jerry Armstrong, a white player, voluntarily steps back to support Coach's plan. The game is fraught with challenges, including injuries and fouls, but the Miners' innovative strategies and determination lead them to an exhilarating victory. Their triumph becomes a historic upset, leading to a shift in attitudes towards black players in basketball. Coach Don's influence extends beyond victory, catalyzing a more inclusive approach across teams. Their success opens doors for many players, who go on to diverse and successful careers in sports and other fields. Coach Don continues his coaching career at Texas Western for 14 seasons, while Coach Roop gradually becomes more open to integrating black players into his teams, influenced by the Miners' remarkable achievement. The impact of Coach Don's leadership and the Miners' success extends far beyond the court, leaving a lasting legacy in the world of basketball. The end. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. Turn on the notifications and leave a like to help the channel out.